by to gather the data, I think was the terminology. There is such a commission. The, under the, one of the people that I'm so sorry was not here today was Sophia Elijah, who used to be the executive director of the Corrections Association. And they did a study along with RAP and a couple of other organizations about just before you came on, Jose, and they published quite a bit of information, which was really what started the dialogue about the necessity to even consider this as a possibility. So that I think that what needs to happen is that really needs to be formalized. And I think that if there is a takeaway from that today, that would be one of the areas that we would perhaps pursue vigorously. Yes, I see that. Yes, I like Shaka when I met him. So that's a takeaway that we ought to be considering. So something is in the works. It just needs to be more formalized. The other was the question about, in the last presentation, about when you say that some children have been adopted and others have been abducted? By whom? And where? What is, I don't know that that's become a very public piece of information in terms of children that are being abducted.
They're taken to places that nobody knows where they went. Nobody has any record of.
But who is behind it?
Not me.
I guess the question is whether or not it's an ICE situation or something else.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to clarify, because.
The information I got from Fox News stated that it was the MS-16 and other gang members adopting these kids.
Use your mic.
MS-13.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah.
Right, so the information I have received from Fox News states that MS-16 and former gang members has abducted these kids. That's the information I got last year from Fox News, so I don't know what other information you guys may have now, but just thought about sharing that.
Right, well, the group, so the group that wrote that you didn't have the specific information, just the general information that children were in fact being abducted.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not part of government that's doing the abducting.
No.
We don't know.
I don't know.
Well, see, I guess the only reason that, again, I become concerned is because there's that whole human trafficking piece. If these kids are disappearing, who's responsible or where they're going? And it always means that there's a lot of money involved. And so if this is not being publicly not acknowledged, somebody's making some money somewhere. And I get real concerned when we talk about children suddenly just disappearing and nobody knows where they went.
I have a question. It was indicated that some of these detention centers are worse than others. How come there is a variation?
Because it's privately conducted.
The private ones are worse than the
We can say
government
that about
ones.
our neighborhoods, but that's a whole nother showing it entirely. If you speak on why there's the camps in the first place, leaves the pathology as to why it's needed. And if there is no reason why we're even putting them there, then we can't hold a candle of credence to the integrity of the camps. It's almost like saying if something is illegal, how do you make a moral object or moral situation out of an illegal situation in and of itself? So you gotta look at what it is that you're doing versus what it is we're holding them accountable for. If we don't even want them in detention centers, there is no level of integrity that is to be held to these things if they're immoral, illegal, and unethical.
Yes,
She
Joanne.
Smita mentioned that
Wanna take
she
a mic?
visited,
We don't have one.
that she
We have
visited El
plenty of them
Paso.
over here.
I don't think I have a
You need to be heard at this end of the room.
Oh, okay. Smita mentioned that
she visited El Paso just recently, I think in March, and she mentioned that both private and federally funded facilities were equally bad. That there were some good ones and bad ones on either side. Because it was our thinking that it was the private ones, but she said it was public and private, yeah. That both can be bad.
Yes,
Um,
there's one right there.
yeah, it is great. So I think the one thing that was missing from each presentation is the role of capitalism, which I think we're touching on now, but the role of capitalism in engendering and perpetuating a lot of these issues. You know, the Black Panthers and, you know, all the folks that I love talked about this consistently, that if we're going to dismantle any type of system of injustice, we really need to address dismantling capitalism and capitalism and addressing economic justice issues. So even when we think about, you know, the detention centers, like all the conversations we're having here, it's about like, where's the money going, where's the money coming from, who benefits from keeping what system in place. So I would charge us to really think about how important that question is as being at the crux of really what injustice means in this nation. From the very beginning, I mean, this is why we had a system of slavery, correct? And so that is literally in the blood and veins of this country, this really terrible system of capitalism that we have.
Anybody else? Otherwise, I think we need to wrap it up. We do. This has been a tremendous session. Would the people responsible for the different groups please give me their papers?
We'll get it to you before this.
Okay.
We'll get it to you.
David.